Most people think they already know Johnny Depp. They picture the movies, the characters, the press, and the fame. They imagine the Hollywood lifestyle, the premieres, the flashes of cameras, and the endless headlines. For years, the world has been used to seeing Depp through a very particular lens: the eccentric actor, the mysterious celebrity, the man who disappears into roles. But what if I told you that this image is only half the truth? What if behind all of that there's another version of Johnny Depp, one that most people never fully see? A version that doesn't live under the spotlight of Hollywood, but instead under the glow of stage lights, in front of roaring crowds, guitar in hand, living out a dream that started long before he ever read a script. This side of Johnny is not about costumes, or directors, or cameras. It's about strings on a guitar. It's about amps buzzing. It's about songs played with raw energy and real emotion. It's about being a rock star, not because of fame, but because music has always been the truest expression of who he is. It's a secret life, hidden in plain sight, and once you know about it, you'll never look at him the same way again. Johnny Depp's story as a musician begins long before Hollywood. As a teenager, he didn't dream about movies at all. Acting wasn't even on his radar. His dream was music. He wanted to be a guitarist. He spent his nights practicing, his days thinking about melodies, and his heart was set on making it in the music world. He joined bands. He played small gigs. He wrote songs. For him, the stage was where he belonged. And if things had gone just a little differently, the world might have first known Johnny Depp not as an actor, but as a rock musician. Acting, as strange as it sounds, came into his life by chance, almost like a detour. A detour that turned into global fame. But at the core of who he was, music remained the first love. Even as Hollywood swept him up, he never let go of the guitar. Between movie shoots, while others were resting or attending parties, Johnny would spend hours playing. He recorded tracks with friends. He jammed late into the night. And those friends? They weren't just any musicians. They were legends. People like Alice Cooper, Joe Perry from Aerosmith, Marilyn Manson, and countless others. These weren't casual meetups. They were collaborations, bonds formed through music. Depp wasn't just an actor in their circle, he was a fellow musician who could hold his own with the best of them. Eventually, this passion grew into something bigger. Depp co-founded a band. Not just any band, but a supergroup. The Hollywood Vampires. With Alice Cooper and Joe Perry by his side, this wasn't a vanity project. This was a real band, with real music, real albums, and real tours. They filled arenas. They performed for tens of thousands. They played in Europe, in America, in massive festivals where crowds stretched as far as the eye could see. Fans didn't come just to see Depp the actor. They came to hear Depp the musician. And when he stepped on stage, guitar slung over his shoulder, there was no doubt, he belonged there. Imagine it for a second. The lights dim. The crowd roars. Then the band comes out, and in the middle of it all is Johnny Depp, not playing a character, not hiding behind makeup or costumes, but simply himself. He plays his guitar. He sings. He pours his soul into the music. And for those moments, there's no Hollywood, no cameras, no scripts. Just music. Just Johnny. And if you've ever wondered who the real Johnny Depp is, this is it. Now, let's clear up something important. A lot of people assume when celebrities play music, it's just a hobby. They think, oh, he's just famous, so of course he can play around in a band. But with Depp, that idea falls apart quickly. He isn't a background extra in his own band. He isn't standing there just to attract attention. He writes songs. He records tracks. He plays serious guitar solos. He sings lead vocals. And when he performs, you can hear it in the sound, he's not faking it. His voice is gritty, soulful, full of lived experience. His guitar work is tight, expressive, and raw. He's not borrowing credibility from his fame. He's earning it with every note. And here's something fans notice over and over. He looks different on stage. Happier. Lighter. When Depp plays music, it's like a weight lifts off his shoulders. Hollywood is heavy. Fame is heavy. But music sets him free. On stage, he isn't being directed. He isn't following a script. He isn't playing a role. He's just living in the moment, and people in the audience can feel that. It makes the shows special. It makes them real. Now think about what you picture when you hear the word rockstar. Most people imagine chaos. Non-stop parties. Scandals. Destruction. The wild lifestyle that's been tied to rock for decades. But Depp's version is very different. For him, being a rock star isn't about wreckage, it's about release. It's not about trying to shock the world, it's about finding peace in sound. He's not doing this because he needs more fame. He has more fame than anyone could ask for. He's not doing it for money either. He's doing it because music is therapy. It's healing. It's how he processes the world, how he copes with pain, how he expresses things that can't be put into words. And that's why his performances feel so raw. They're not polished in the way movies are polished. They're not carefully edited or rehearsed to perfection. They're alive. They're messy in the best way. They're human. And when you watch him, you see a side of Johnny Depp that's unfiltered, authentic, and maybe even more real than the version we've seen on screen for decades. There are countless little stories that show just how deep his music life runs. Like the time he played backup for Oasis, the band behind the iconic song Wonderwall. Most people in the crowd probably couldn't believe their eyes. There was Johnny Depp, one of the biggest actors in the world, standing on stage, not as a celebrity guest, but as part of the band, playing guitar like it was the most natural thing in the world. And this wasn't a one-time stunt. He's done things like this repeatedly, showing up, blending in, and letting the music speak for itself. One of his biggest influences is the blues. As a kid, he fell in love with those sounds, the slow, soulful riffs, the honesty in the playing. That influence never left him. Even now, when he performs, you can hear it. He'll slide into a blues riff, improvise with raw feeling, and lose himself in the sound. That's the kind of passion that can't be faked. It's not for show. It's who he is. And that authenticity matters. Because for someone like Johnny Depp, who has lived decades being observed, judged, and often misunderstood, music is one of the few places where he doesn't have to explain himself. He doesn't have to play a part. He doesn't have to meet anyone's expectations. He just plays. And in that playing, he reveals more of himself than most interviews or films ever could. Fans who've seen him live often say the same thing. That he looks more comfortable on stage with his guitar than anywhere else. That he smiles more. That he connects more deeply. That for those couple of hours, he's not the Hollywood star, he's not the headline, he's not the character. He's simply Johnny Depp, the musician, the dreamer, the teenager who once thought music would be his entire future. The Hollywood Vampires, the band he co-founded, isn't just about playing music either. It has a deeper purpose. The group was originally formed as a tribute to rock legends who passed away. So every time they step on stage, they're not just performing, they're honoring the ones who came before. They're keeping the spirit of rock alive. And for Depp, that's meaningful. It's a way of giving back to the music that shaped him. A way of saying thank you to the artists who inspired him to pick up a guitar in the first place. What's remarkable is how he balances these two worlds. On one side, he's an actor in massive films, commanding millions of dollars, carrying franchises, and shaping pop culture. On the other side, he's a musician, playing shows, releasing albums, and living a completely different kind of artistry. Most people struggle to succeed in just one career. Depp has somehow lived fully in two, side by side, without losing himself in either. And maybe that's the real secret. Maybe the reason he's been able to survive the ups and downs of fame, the pressure, the chaos, is because he always had music to go back to. Acting may have made him famous, but music kept him grounded. It reminded him of who he was before the world knew his name. And every time he steps on stage, that kid with the guitar, that kid chasing a dream, comes alive again. So, when people ask, who is the real Johnny Depp, maybe the answer isn't found in a movie. Maybe it isn't found in an interview. Maybe the real Johnny Depp is the one standing under stage lights, guitar in hand, eyes closed, lost in a song. That's where you see the purest version of him. Not the actor. Not the celebrity. But the musician who has loved music all his life. And now I want you to imagine this. Imagine getting the chance to see him live. To hear the guitar riffs echo through the crowd. To watch him step up to the mic, voice raspy, singing lyrics that mean something to him, not as a performance for a camera, but as a moment he's sharing with everyone in the room. Would you take that chance? Would you buy that ticket? Would you rather see him in another blockbuster film, or would you rather see him live, pouring his soul into the music that started it all? It's not an easy choice, because both are unforgettable. But maybe, just maybe, seeing him in that environment would give you something the movies can't. A glimpse into his heart. A glimpse into the Johnny Depp most people never get to see. And that's the beauty of it. Johnny Depp isn't just the actor we all know. He's not just the man in the headlines. He's not just the Hollywood mystery. He's a rock star in his own right, living a life that's been there from the beginning, a life built on passion, not performance. And once you see that, once you know it, it changes everything. So the next time you think about Johnny Depp, don't just picture the characters. Don't just picture the movies. Picture him on stage, guitar in hand, lost in the music he's loved all his life. Because that's the Johnny Depp who's been there all along, waiting for the world to notice. And maybe, just maybe, that's the Johnny Depp who deserves to be remembered most.